Good morning. This is Send 7 World News in 7 minutes. I'm Stephen DeVincenzi. Today is Monday, the 20th of July, 2026. Starting in Europe today, in the United Kingdom, Andy Burnham will be sworn in as Prime Minister today. Burnham was previously the Mayor of Manchester and was recently elected to Parliament in a by-election, which another Labour member deliberately triggered by resigning so that Burnham could win a seat in Parliament. Despite winning a large majority 2 years ago, Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer became increasingly unpopular with the public, and many of his colleagues encouraged him to resign. Burnham has said that he will focus on growing the economy in all parts of the United Kingdom. In Norway, a forest fire has burned over 100 homes. Fires are burning in various parts of Europe at the moment, especially Spain, where there are many fires burning right now. One fire close to the city of Zaragoza has burned an area over 140 square kilometres, and over 800 people have been evacuated. Hungary's president, Tamás Sulyok, has agreed to resign after Parliament, dominated by Prime Minister Peter Magyar's Tisza party, voted for a constitutional amendment to remove him. Sulyok is an ally of former Prime Minister Viktor Orbán. Russia used drones and missiles to attack Ukrainian cities this weekend, especially the capital Kyiv and the southern city of Odessa. Ukraine has continued to hit Russian commercial ships in the Azov Sea and the Black Sea over the last few days, with a commander saying that they are only disabling the ships and not destroying them. Reuters has reported that farmers in Russia are complaining that they are not able to sell their grains because shipments are not leaving Russia. Ukraine also hit more Russian oil infrastructure this weekend. Authorities in Moscow said that 7 workers were killed after warehouses in Moscow were hit by Ukrainian drones. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Ukraine hit 2 logistics facilities used by Russia for making weapons. Also in Ukraine, there were some more protests this weekend calling for the reinstatement of Defense Minister Mikhailo Fedorov and calling for the resignation of Commander of the Armed Forces Alexander Syrski, who is seen as a rival of Fedorov's. In Germany, the leader of the Christian Democratic Union in the Bundestag, Jens Spahn, has resigned after being accused of hypocrisy for having a surrogate child, despite his party being officially against surrogacy. Spahn, who is gay, recently became a father after his husband had a baby with a surrogate mother from the United States. In Germany, surrogacy is illegal. Spahn was also health secretary for almost 4 years under Chancellor Angela Merkel, and during that time he said that he did not want to change Germany's surrogacy laws. Some media has said that Chancellor Friedrich Merz told Spahn to resign. Surrogacy laws are very different all around the world, with some countries like Germany banning it completely, some countries like the UK allowing it as long as it is without payment, and some places like Georgia or some states in the US allowing it for payment. Asia. The United States continued to attack various targets in Iran this weekend. The US military said that the attacks aimed to degrade Iran's ability to threaten commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran launched attacks on US bases throughout the Middle East. Kuwait has said that a power and water plant had been hit by Iran twice this weekend. An Iranian Kurdish group operating in Iraqi Kurdistan said that it had been targeted by Iran, causing injuries but no deaths. In Jordan, 2 US soldiers were killed while defending against an Iranian attack. Another soldier is missing and 4 were injured. In total, 16 US military personnel are known to have died in this war so far. According to the British newspaper The Sunday Times, the total death toll for the war is over 8,000, most of whom are Iranians, as well as people in various countries across the Middle East, as well as some commercial sailors. In China, at least 8 people have died and 34 are missing after a landslide, according to state media. The landslide happened in the city of Chongqing, where people live in buildings between a mountain and a river. Africa. In Kenya, 7 United States citizens who had been in the Democratic Republic of Congo are quarantining for Ebola, Reuters has been told by the charity which employs them. A few weeks ago, there were major protests in Kenya against the quarantine centre, and a court ordered the construction of the centre to be suspended. The health minister also said that the construction had been suspended. In Sao Tome and Principe, votes are being counted from yesterday's presidential election. President Carlos Villanoca is running for a second term as president. However, this time he is not running as a candidate of his former party, Acção Democrática, after tensions with the party after he fired the prime minister. Sao Tome is the second smallest country in Africa, both in terms of size and population, with just 200,000 people. Americas. In Peru, an earthquake hit the Junín region yesterday, about 300 kilometers east of Lima. At least 6 people are known to have died and around 50 homes are known to have been destroyed. There was also another earthquake off the coast of Mexico, which was felt in Guatemala and El Salvador yesterday. However, this was not known to have caused any damage. Off of the coast of Guyana, rescue operations are continuing after a ferry sank. 67 people have been rescued. However, the ferry is believed to have held 116 people. In Canada, almost 1,000 wildfires are burning, with many of the biggest in the state of Ontario. Smoke from the fires has been blowing south into the United States, and people in the US cities of Detroit and Chicago have been encouraged to stay inside to avoid inhaling the smoke. And most people are wearing masks. US President Donald Trump, writing on his Truth Social platform, threatened Canada with tariffs because of the smoke, saying that Canada was being negligent. Ontario Premier Doug Ford said that Ontario has helped the US to combat fires in the past and said that the US should help Canada instead of criticising them.
Well, maybe what you should do rather than complain is send support, send help, because we have done the exact same thing for our American friends, and that's what you're supposed to do.
And last night, the Football World Cup was won by Spain, who beat the previous champions Argentina after extra time in the final. This is the second time that Spain has won the World Cup after winning in 2010. In the match for third place on Saturday, England beat France by 6-4, making it the highest scoring third place match in World Cup history. That's your world news in 7 minutes. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.